Instrumental murderer. You already know what time it is. Gangway. We the team. Look. I've been really trying to get it, but the people got their handle in my business. Let's go. People say I need to listen, but the way I be too busy flipping, gotta change the way I'm living. Plus, these enemies ain't no friends to me. They Hennessy, get them froggy, they gon' rest in peace. They testing me, pray to God that they let me be. My family need a leader, so I'm staying free. Keep it legal, I spit it leaf flows. 36 can play the game just like Tebow. Just follow me though, just let the streets know. Jersey master with the craft, know he keep the heat though. I'm talking candles, put that name on the mantle, I dismantle all your squad, pick apart, leave them all examples. Them coppers be taking samples, nothing left. I burnt them. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in this morning as we have our first ever State of the Hood address brought to you by me, Justin Counts. I'm the executive director of Jackson Strength Network, also the vice president of Pop First, Power of the People First, a new organization created for the people by the people. Now, I just want to first start off by addressing that yesterday the city held its first, not its first, but one of its many State of the City addresses done by our mayor, Mr. Mahoney. It was an amazing address. I watched it all. And I thought that we also should do one of these strictly for the hood. And let me clarify why this is needed. See, right now, we're in a crazy time, a time where they call it the K economy. That's where some of us are thriving, and we see that we're going up. And some of us, you see, it's not the case, and we're going down. So today, we want to address it all. We want to address everything today, and we want to spit the facts. We want to know what the people think about the state of our hood. Do you feel that it's going in the right direction, or do you feel that we're trending in the wrong way? I want to know what you guys think. Leave us a comment if you're watching. We want to make this an open discussion as well. Just wanted to check everything, make sure we're broadcasting right. So I'm not here to talk about parties or ideology or give you like the whole Chamber of Commerce version of our city. I'm here to give you the state of the hood. We're going to look at like some of the same stats, some of the same things, but we're also going to take a look at some of our problems, some of our issues. What are we seeing versus what are they saying, right? Now, as I look at the state of our hood, I want to start by flashing you back to when I first got here. It was the winter of 2005, where I landed on the south side of Jackson, Michigan. At the time, I was staying on a small street called Cypress Drive, right next to the King Center. When I first got to Jackson, Michigan, I remember being enthralled with the community and captivated by the closeness of the community on the south side of Jackson, Michigan. I remember being a 20-year-old, 21-year-old young man walking the streets of Milwaukee Street and seeing all the numerous houses and families, vibrant faces that looked just like me. And they were everywhere. I remember walking down the streets of Milwaukee Street, starting from the Milwaukee store, and I would walk further south towards Prospect.
And on that walk, I would pass all of these faces. I would see all of these sights, people hustling, bustling about, children playing, people in the street playing, people barbecuing in their yards. And as I drive those same streets today, all I can think about is how much it has changed. From the street names to the families that used to reside on those streets, everything has changed to the point where I don't even recognize those same streets that we used to run and play and hang out on. The families that were once staples of these neighborhoods have disappeared, as well as the houses. The very house on Cypress Drive that I used to live on when I first came to Jackson in 2005, it's gone. The place where I used to live is now empty. There has been no rebuild over it. It's just an empty lot now. Not only my house, but the house that was next door to me is gone. So as I think about this state of the hood, I wanted to be optimistic and say that it's doing good, but in reality, is the state of the hood is bad, and it's red for danger. It's red for the poverty. It's red for the lack of investment into the people that live there. One of the major accomplishments that our city brags upon is the 100 Homes program. The 100 Home Project is transforming neighborhoods and providing affordable options. As we can see, there have been over 50 houses sold and families are moving in. But I have to ask myself, is this really solving our problems? I've seen the apartment complexes that they've built, beautiful apartment complexes. But yet I ask myself, is this the answer that our community needs? See, the reality right now is that individuals in Jackson are suffering from one problem, and that's poverty. The poverty rate in our city right now is sitting at 25%. That's double the national average, 25%. The average individual in Jackson is making around $27,430 a year. So the question is, how does a family making $27,000 a year qualify for a $178,000 mortgage, even with 25 or $50,000 down payment assistance? The fact is, these homes aren't for the people currently struggling in the first or second ward. They are for people the city want to move into them. And that's not a housing solution. What that is a neighborhood swap. We are seeing people incentivized to move to Jackson, people that have higher incomes, people that are more financially stable. And why, yes, we can see the logic in why we would do that. But what is being done for the families that are making $27,000 a year? What is being done for the single mothers who right now are struggling finding 4 and 5 bedroom housing? Apartments aren't working for them. Women with 4 and 5 children now looking for homes. When we see our government has chosen to not invest in programs like Section 8 that would normally provide housing for those women with 4 and 5 children to be able to get a house, to rent a house, and have it be affordable. We see those programs going away. And what steps are we taking to make sure that there's housing that's adequate for those people? right now, a single mother working, she has to work to get her food stamps. She has to work to keep her housing. What are we doing for her for daycare? What are we doing for them? We got a lot of problems in our community. We have a lot of problems that just don't seem to be addressed. And we think that because statistics show one thing, we think that that tells the whole picture. I say the state of our hood is bad because our hood is disappearing. The community that was once vibrant, that was once bolstering with all of these beautiful families and legacy, has now disappeared. As I drive down Milwaukee Street, which is now Carl Breeding Way, you drive down that street at 7, 8 o'clock at night, and it will look like a ghost town. It's a ghost town because the neighborhood has been Swiss cheesed. Swiss cheese, families that have been staples are now gone, missing. The houses that once stood there haven't been replaced. What is coming up, 100 homes are building. New apartment complexes are building. But there's still community out there that we're leaving behind. Young families that are trying to start their lives over. Young families that are trying to break out of the cycle of poverty. We haven't brought any resources to them at all. Our poverty rate is double the national average. Why is it double the national average? That's because there's lack of jobs, lack of real jobs. Many men going to work for factories temporarily, breaking their bodies and their backs for chump wages, and often used, abused for a temporary amount of time and then let go. And then they have to start the cycle over and over again. So many young men that I speak to today are struggling with affordability. That's the major problem right now today. You look at any city where there's a high crime rate, and you can almost guarantee that their poverty rate is just as high. That's because poverty and crime go hand in hand. We talk about the programs that we are creating to minimize the gun violence in our community, right? But these programs will not be effective without investing in resources for the people to bring up that average income from 27,000 to look more like the county average. Because the reality is, if you live outside of Jackson City, if you live outside of the city limits in Jackson, chances are that your income is a little higher than that 27,000. That's because all of the jobs, all of the great opportunities are usually outside of the city. So that's what we need to get more of. We need more investment into our local city, more economic opportunities, not less. We need more. We need to build up the people that are the lowest amongst us. Because if we can create more income for people and bring that poverty rate down from 25% to at least what the national average is, which is like 12 and a half, 13%, you'll see less crime. You'll see more families ready to purchase those houses. We can't be ready to purchase these houses without being taught financial literacy. We can't be ready to purchase these houses if we haven't been giving the basics that we need to survive. We got a lot of women, a lot of young men that are struggling trying to take care of families, struggling trying to make it in this society, and a lot of them aren't getting any help. There's no resources for them. Because sadly, if you are one of the fortunate ones that have enough of your life together, right, that you make a little over 30,000, 40,000, and you have a family and a structure, You'll start to see that you make too much to get help from these programs. You'll start to see that you're in this gray area of where they've assumed that you should be fine. And then you'll see that there's no help for you when you're in those situations. So we have to do more to support the young families. I think that we have to do more to support the young men that are out here in the streets. These young men don't want to be in the streets, but they're out there because this is the only opportunities that are given to them. They don't have those chances to make $30 an hour. They don't have those opportunities to get on a construction site. They don't see that because they're not shown that. What they are shown is the streets. What they are shown is drugs, pistols, alcohol, online gambling. Those are the things that we focus on because those is what's readily available. So when we look at the programs that they focus on, right, they're doing good. They're trying. But at the same time, they're missing what the people really need. The people really need a focus and attention on development. We need personal development. We need healing from trauma. We need opportunities. We need jobs. We need education. There should be more investment into education. There should be more investment into rehabilitation. There should be more investment into substance abuse recovery, not more investments into bringing other people here. We're cool with the strengthening Jackson through bringing in incomes and bringing in jobs and opportunities. But we're not cool with leaving the people behind. Right now in our city, a landlord can discriminate against you if you have a felony. They can deny you housing if you have a felony, which is the craziest thing in the world to me. How are we as a people who claim to love God and claim to know God still haven't gotten to the point where we can allow someone redemption? There's no way that someone should be still punished for a crime that they did years ago when they've shown that they've been adequate to be free in our society, when they've shown that they've made the steps to change their life. Why aren't we doing more to support people in this situation? Studies shows that when we support people who are formerly incarcerated, that it helps them to become productive citizens and they start paying taxes again. They start working. They start taking families and building families and creating generational wealth. So why not support those that are coming home from prison? Why not build more programs to help the men that wake up? I talk to hundreds of men every year that get to a point in life, just like I did. We wake up and we realize the destruction, the path of destruction that we've led down, and we start to want to change. And we want to do something to be back productive, and we want to give back, and we want to do all of these different things, but we get stuck. We get stuck in this one part of the process, and it's because we don't have the same support from our community. So what I'd like to see change is that we start supporting those that are formerly incarcerated, that we start thinking about them when we do our policies. Because yeah, it's nice to build all of these houses, but if your main requirements makes it to where I can't participate, it has to change. When I see applications that say you have to have a 700 credit score to be able to rent this house, I think about all the people in our community that don't have a 700 credit score. All of the people in poverty, all of the young women that are struggling, single mothers that are trying to take care of their children, doing everything they can to survive. Rent centers. You got all of these people that's destroying our credit. Right way, charging people 29% interest. A lot of these side little car lots charging people 29% interest for these cars that they buy every tax time with their tax time money. We allow all of these people to prey upon their credit. And now we telling them that they got to have perfect credit, damn near perfect credit, to be able to rent a house. That's not housing solutions, fellas, ladies. You can build all the houses that you want, but if you make it unattainable to the people that live in the city, then it's just as if you didn't build them at all. It's actually worse, because every time one of those new homes pop up in our neighborhoods, the people that are living in those neighborhoods are hurting. I've seen $178,000 houses being built next to houses that sold for $50,000. Houses on Bate Street coming brand new, next door to houses that I know for sure drugs being sold out of. Houses that I know for sure people that are addicted living in next to them, struggling to pay their rent, struggling to pay their mortgage, losing their houses. And they have to see all of these brand new houses being popped up in their neighborhood. And on top of that, now they're seeing their taxes go up because of all of these beautiful houses that are popping up on their neighborhood that they can't afford, that they would never be approved for. How does that make our people feel? I spoke to a woman who has one of those houses built up across the street from her house. Her house is over 100 years old. She needs a new roof. She can't afford a roof. She needs a new water heater. Can't afford a water heater. She has a little bit of money, but not much. Struggling. When she opens up her tax bill this year, she realized that her tax bill is way higher than it was before. Nothing's changed in her box other than a bunch of these brand new houses started popping up. Houses that she could never afford. And she told me that waking up every day and seeing that brand new house across the street, she said it makes her happy to see these houses coming up and more houses coming to the neighborhood. But at the same time, she thinks about her own home that she's been in for years. Her family has owned for generations. And she's looking at the condition of her own home. And she starts to feel sad. She says she feels sad because she knows that she can never rehabilitate her house to make it look as nice as the houses that are popping up on her very street. And I know that's not going to be the case for everybody. But this is it for everybody. This address is strictly for the hood. Because, see, our problems are totally different. The issues that we go through in our community, they're unique. We have children before we can afford them. We make choices that stick with us forever without us fully knowing the consequences of our actions. We make life harder for ourselves. But these are the things that people in poverty do. And we need help in order for us to escape this mindset, to escape these psychological chains that have kept us in these conditions. Doesn't matter how many cameras aren't going to stop bullets. They don't feed hungry children. They won't protect our children. We can spend all of the money in the world on building apartments, on building housing. But if the housing and those apartments aren't attainable to the very folks that need them, then it is worse than us having even built them at all. Because what we're doing is we're ushering in our replacements. The hood has changed. As I ride through the South Side, I see emptiness. I see nothing. Now, when I ride on the East Side, I see danger. I see scary stuff. You ride through the East Side in the middle of the night. Go stop at the Dollar General on East Michigan in the middle of the night and see if it don't startle you a little bit, especially with the conditions of the neighborhoods along all of those back streets on the East Side. I realize how the hood has changed, and the East Side is the new hood. The poverty, the drugs running rampant through these communities. Houses that used to be owned by families now being lost and now replaced. In another 10 years, what will it look like? Will we recognize any of the people here? Those are my fears. So we as a community, we have to do more. We have to do more to address the issues that we have in our city, because we got more issues out here than just gun violence. Not one time has anyone mentioned the domestic violence problem that we have in our community right now. Not one time have anyone mentioned the domestic violence problem that we have in our community right now. Our young children are living with the most toxic relationships that you ever seen. And our people are quiet about it. We say nothing about it. Police officers are going on thousands of domestic violence calls a day. But we worried about the gun violence, when it is more likely that you're going to have a daughter that gets slapped up, when it is more likely that you're going to have a son who puts his hands on a woman or who harms a woman, causing death. Because we know that a lot of domestic violences end in death. We've seen young men commit suicide over relationships. We've seen young men choose to delete themselves, their families, everything over relationships. Where are the resources for that? Where are the men standing up to speak out against these problems? Because there's more to worry about in our hood than just gun violence. We got silent killers now, sneaking up, taking away the joy, the prosperity, and the honor of our young men. I spoke about that with the online gambling, sports gambling, killing our young men. But we focus on gun violence. Our young people are struggling more than ever right now. I watch them on a daily. I see what they post. I see what they talk about. They struggling. Young women are starting life and creating life and being tossed out there with no resources. No resources. No DHS for the baby daddy. No help for the baby daddy. Where's the programs teaching these men how to be fathers? Where's the programs that can assist these men when child support is raping them? No assistance for these men. Where's the help for the young brother that say he want to change his life? He ready to leave the streets, but he can't find a decent opportunity that can feed his family. He can't even find housing. The average young man, I'm 42, I'll be 42, I think this year. The average of my friends are in their 50s. I look around at the men that I hang around, and no shade to any of them, because I'm in the same boat. If it wasn't for the women in our lives, a lot of us would be homeless. A lot of us would be homeless if it wasn't for the women in our lives. And that's like a knife to the gut for a man. But the system has done this to me. See, without my wife, I would not get approved for housing. Why? Because child support takes 55% of my income, my credit is shit, and I have felonies. That's 3 strikes. You're done. You as a man don't deserve to have nothing. Plenty men in the same situation that made one choice when they were young, and that choice when they're young has ruined their whole life after. No chance for redemption. They have reduced the male down to nothing due to no investments in education, in the skills. How many men know how to change a light bulb or oil change? How many men can hang drywall today? And I ain't talking about in y'all community. I'm talking about in the hood. Talking about in the hood. See, because I know what happened in the 80s, the destruction that the crack cocaine did to our neighborhoods, taking away our fathers, taking away that generational knowledge being passed down. We ain't passing down no knowledge no more. We got kids that are generationally lived in subsidized housing. They don't never know what it was like to own their own home, to own their own home, or to have a basement with a pool in the background. Kids are grown up, generationally living in the projects. Never purchased a home. Mother never purchased a home. What will they know about buying a home or saving for a home? What will they know about credit? So unless we take the time now to interject, man, and start giving people the resources they need, we have to start off with healing the trauma, because our hood has been traumatized. It's been traumatized by all of these different epidemics, pandemics, systemic oppression, all types of things that have traumatized the hood and have caused us to live in perpetual trauma and have caused us to be desensitized to the trauma that we put on other people and ourselves. So we must start with healing the trauma. Number one, once we heal the trauma, then we can make room for developing you personally and professionally, giving you the skills and resources that you need to survive in our hood. We need to take care of your housing. See, the housing prospect in the hood is bleak. It's bleak. For a single mother living in, let's just say, the Foxfires, she working full time. Let's just say she make $15, $16 an hour. She working full time, 2 kids. She will make too much at $15 an hour. She'll make too much for full benefits. So her rent would be about 30% of her income. Her daycare, well, she'll have to pay some for her daycare, and she will get reduced down for the food stamps, working full time at $15 an hour. There's no way for her to be able to save enough money to progress out of that situation. I know this because I was a housing case manager for several years, and I went over income with many young women and saw how hard they were working, seeing how hard they were working, and every time they make more money, they take more money from them. Same way they do with me, with my child support. So I saw this, and I would tell young women, look, the more you work, the more they're going to penalize you, and the more benefits that you're going to take away. So the only way for you to get out of this system is to make enough money to where you don't need their benefits. And sadly, for a lot of people, they're never going to make enough money to be able to get out of that situation alone. So we have to start encouraging people to start coming together, build families. We need 2-income homes. We need 2-income homes. Fellas, we need the ladies more than ever today because the state of the hood is bad. You will not get approved for housing by yourself. Even if you could get approved for housing by yourself, let's say you did make enough money to meet the requirements. $1,000 a month must make 3 times the amount of income. So you got to make $3,000 a month by yourself to be able to afford that $1,000 a month apartment. For the fellas that do make that type of money, if you have any type of background, that's going to hinder you. That's going to stop you. If your credit is not good, that's going to stop you. So now we have to educate our young people. We have to educate our young people on building up their credit, getting themselves ready to be homeowners. Because you can't just wake up and say that you're going to be a homeowner. No, you have to have education. You have to have the understanding of what it even takes to purchase a home. So we got to educate our young people on how to build their credit up and not how to destroy their credit. We got to start teaching our kids to stay away from Rent-A-Center, stay away from errands, stay away from that stuff. Leave those credit cards alone. We got to teach our kids, our young men especially, stay away from the DraftKings. DraftKings is not the lick. It's not going to get you rich. It ain't going to do nothing but cause you further destruction. We got to teach our young men, stay away from that alcohol, because that alcohol ain't doing nothing to help you in the future. All of that money that you're wasting on these drinks and in these partying, this could be your home. This could be your home for the future. This could be your land. This could be your business. This could be your future. You don't have to work for another man. You could work for yourself. This could be so many other things. The state of our hood is bad, man. I look at the investments that they made in the city center, things like the incubator kitchen, a much celebrated thing where a business entrepreneur can use the kitchen anytime that they want for them to start their business. I look at those things and they're good. But at the same time, I think about our young people. I think about our young men that are fresh out of high school and they're thinking about their future, and we're just shoving them off into these factories that are just going to destroy their bodies and their backs. I think about my son who at 26 years old, he's been working in these factories and his body is breaking down. This man goes to work every day, don't go to doctors. He just goes to work every day, dealing with his mental health on his own. Nobody there to help him, no programs to assist him, nobody to listen to his problems. And I see them suffering and I see it and I'm thinking, what are we going to do to support these young men, man? These young men out here trying, man. They doing the thing the right way, man. They did it. They watched us. They seen the pitfalls that we made. And they like, man, I'm not going that way. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to focus on what we're supposed to do. But yet, still, I'm watching the system fail these young men. Fail these young men, man. These young men is getting trapped, man. They're getting trapped in bad relationships where women are using the children against them. We see the system being used against them, used against these young men, so can't see their kids. We see in the system destroy these young men, destroy the souls of these young men. The fire that was in their eyes is gone. Because of this life, we see the depression that is killing these young men. So even though they might not be in the streets, they might not be out here shooting, they might not be out here gang banging, but yet these kids is in the house suffering, playing the video games by themselves all day, smoking and drinking blunt after blunt after blunt after blunt. with no hope for life, with no hope for the future, with no hope for anything different, because they stuck living this cycle of poverty, living this vicious cycle of having to go to work every single day for nothing, coming home with nothing, not seeing the results of the fruits of their labor. They're not seeing nothing. And all they're seeing is the city that's not choosing to help them. We got to do more. The state of the hood is bad. I don't even recognize it anymore. The beautiful Jackson that I fell in love with has changed so much. With every street name change, with every new city council, I don't recognize this place that I call home, this place that I love so much. With the new faces that spring about downtown that I see every single day, I shed a tear for the families that we've lost, for the people that we've left behind. When I wake up in the morning and I take my wife to work every day and I drive up East Michigan and I see all of the homeless people waking up, pushing their carts, pulling their bags, and we can't do nothing to help them. I have to keep pushing sometimes, even though that I want to stop. But the reality is, how can I help someone when I can't even help myself? That's the state of our hood, fellas. Ladies, how can we help someone when we can't help ourselves? So I like to close with, the state of the city is good if you're a developer. The state of the hood is struggling, but we still standing. We are the ones doing the heavy lifting, working jobs, breaking our backs while living in poverty. If the city wants to see real progress, they need to stop building for us and start building with us. We don't need no more speeches. We need the same red tape cutting for the South Side, the same ribbon cutting for the whole South Side. Until then, we're going to be right here on the block, man, doing the same work that we've been doing over and over and over again. My name is Justin Counts. I am a community soldier, executive director of Jackson Strength Network, and vice president of Power of the People First. The state of our hood is struggling, but we're going to make it. We are going to see the change because we are going to be the change we wish to see in the world. Love y'all, man. Thanks for tuning in, man.